They're after your kids. Simply put, eloquently stated, they are after your kids. Libs of TikTok has this video that I think you all need to see. It is I guess, I don't know how you describe it, a mural in Australia showing a man in some kind of BDSM gear with a teddy bear head. Now, the man who filmed this says this is wrong. They're trying to target your children. I'll play this video for you in a second. But I got to tell you, my friends, it's Pedo Bear. That looks like, not identical to, the meme Pedo Bear, a reference to targeting children. And this is the video. Let's play it.
Bro, we're in Wynyard, Sydney. At what point does inclusiveness pass too far? You got a fat man that's naked in a gimp costume with a cute teddy bear hat right in Wynyard. Now tell me this, maybe you can say I'm exaggerating, maybe you can say I'm too much, but at what point is it too far when you're walking down the street with your kid and the kid looks at a cute teddy bear hat and relates it to a man in a gimp suit? At what point does it get too dangerous? You tell me.
This is the decay. This is the degradation and the degeneracy of Western civilization. That's right. The Pedo Bear head on a gay man in BDSM gear. Now it's been defaced. According to skynews.com.au, leave the kids alone. Controversial gay pride mural of man wearing bondage gear in Sydney's CBD defaced with paint. People are saying, no way. Take a look at this image. Let's see if we can get it a little bigger for you. We can see here the man in bondage gear has been painted over and it says, leave the kids alone. And they've defaced the whole thing. Wow, man. Yeah, Western civilization was fun while it lasted, I suppose, but weak men make hard times, and that's where we're headed. They report a controversial gay pride mural in Sydney's CBD. Can I just point that out? You're calling it a gay pride mural? It's Pedo Bear. It is a meme directly referencing targeting children. Sure. A controversial gay pride mural in Sydney's CBD has been defaced following days of divided opinion among locals about its appropriateness. The mural on Wynyard Street, located adjacent to the train station of the same name, depicted a man reclining on a couch in minimal clothing. Oh, yes. But the combination of a leather bondage harness and the teddy bear head led some to suggest the artwork was too lewd for younger crowds. Just after 9:30 p.m. on Wednesday, vandals took to the mural with purple, black, and white paint to completely cover the man. The YCK gay slogan written next to the man had also been painted over. A white sign with "Leave the Kids Alone" scrawled on it with black marker had also been plastered on top of the mural. The mural was attacked with paint in two separate occurrences. They're lying to you, the pride people. You know, I know, because I used to do organizing for them, and they're lying to you. I have fundraised on behalf of the HRC, Human Rights Campaign, LGBT rights advocacy on more than one occasion, working for some of these nonprofits, and I can tell you, they're lying to you. The activists are. Here's what they do. The activists will say, it's about love. It's about loving someone. Why do you hate love? And then you get events where they prance around naked. There's one where a fat man in a Bugs Bunny mask is jumping up and down naked in front of children with his genitals flopping about. When I was little, and my family owned a coffee shop in Boys Town, Wrigleyville. It's the gay neighborhood in Chicago. My mom didn't want me going out during the Pride Parade because I was a young child and there were people dancing around naked. That's the reality. I remember I'd walk down the street and I'd see the clothing stores where the models, the mannequins, were anatomically correct and the two male mannequins were in a sexually suggestive position with one on his knees and the other with his pants undone. I remember hearing about Gay Mart, they called it, that sold overtly sexualized products. And I thought to myself as a young child, when I was told over and over again, it's about love, I was like, then how come literally every single thing you talk about nonstop is just sex? How come you're not talking about love? Yeah, because they're lying. And now what are we seeing? The same thing is happening again. Our right to exist, they say. That's the story with someone like Leah Thomas. Trans people say that J.K. Rowling is claiming we don't exist and things like that. They don't exist. Yeah, no, they do exist. Some people would argue they don't, whatever. I know trans people literally exist. The problem, many of these people aren't actually trans. See, when I think about a trans person, I think someone suffering from gender dysphoria. and it caused them pain and anxiety. And so they transition so that they can feel more aligned with their body. It happens. It's in the DSM-5. You know what is not, what I would consider to be trans? Fame whores who get surgery to get clicks and views on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, etc. And AGP and AAP, autoandrophilia. These are individuals who are aroused at the thought of you perceiving them as the opposite sex. That is not trans. So when someone goes around, so this is what happened with Leah Thomas. There's a thread which insinuates that Leah Thomas actually isn't dysphoric, but is fetishizing you, treating them like a woman. It's very strange. So why is it that we then see a mural of a man in bondage gear? What does that have to do with being in love? Nothing. It's a sexual fetish, and they're getting off on you being forced to participate in it. Degeneracy. That's where we're going. I also think it's bold and brazen, but I'm not surprised that we're now seeing the pedo bear face. See, people are like, it's a teddy bear face. They're attracting kids. Like, yeah, dude, that looks a lot like pedo bear. Pedo bear was a meme from a long time ago where it was a little teddy bear that would peek out from the side and make references to people being, targeting children. So is it at all surprising to now see a man, an adult fat man in bondage gear wearing that as a mural? They're telling you exactly who they are and what they intend to do. And I can imagine they will keep pushing unless not allowed. So Matt Walsh called out the trans activists, called out Dylan Mulvaney, and did it in a mean manner. And I think Matt is actually mostly correct in his assessment. I don't care that he was mean. I said, I think you get the message across without being mean, but I don't care that he is. Though he made a really great point, and I think I got to say, we have to shame and ridicule bad things by bad people. We don't tolerate all of it. We tolerate love. So a man loves a man, a woman loves a woman. I have no issue with that. In fact, I accept that. No problem whatsoever. You love somebody, love them, have a good life. When you start getting naked in public, I say this has nothing to do with love. When you start forcing people to participate in your sexual fetish, that is not love. That is degeneracy. And now you've crossed the line and you're infringing on my rights. But too many people, especially on the left, just say, no, we must accept all of it. That's love. No, they're lying to you. What's likely happening, as we see with this and we've seen with many other things, is that people who want to abuse children are using the LGBT community as a vehicle to get what they want. So you end up with groups like Gays Against Groomers, an organization comprised of mostly LGB people, and even some transgender people, who are coming out and saying, do not use our name to push your creepy pedo agenda and your sterilization of kids. So what happens? Quite the funny thing, actually. The left calls them far right or whatever. And it's just like, okay, so you think the far right, the white nationalists, the white supremacists, the traditionalists, the homophobes are actually aligned with gay people. Maybe that's part of the plan. Maybe the plan is to force the right to accept LGBT people by being the villain that unifies everyone against them. Maybe. But look, I've been a liberal for the most part, to whatever you want, or however you want to describe me, my whole life. So I've always been fairly libertarian, and I've always been rather, I don't care what you do in the privacy of your own home. But now you've crossed the line and you're making enemies. And the end result of this is going to be the abolition of gay marriage. Yes, it may be an extreme position, but let me tell you where I think it's going. You have, with the Roe v. Wade case, a lawsuit. Mississippi banned abortion, I think, at like 11 weeks. They sue. They lose, overturning Roe v. Wade. We don't talk about that much anymore, do we? It happened. Now several states are banning abortion. We are going to get, likely, more lawsuits pertaining to Obergefell, which is the case that made gay marriage legal nationwide. And you could get this conservative Supreme Court outright saying no and overturning it. My point is this. You won your tolerance when it came to love, but now you're pushing overt sexuality and sex and fetishism on the rest of the public. They're not going to tolerate that, and there will be a recoil in the other direction. When we see things like this mural, if they had just made a normal mural, they would have gotten their pride message across. Children would have been indoctrinated to it, and they'd grow up accepting it. Instead, they decided to make something deeply offensive that targets children in a very disgusting way. And thus, it's now going to start pushing back in the other direction. You're shocking people. You're waking up the silent majority. Now, so be it. I'm sure the conservatives are very, very happy about it. In the end, I think we may see gay marriage overturned in this country. we may see many other more right-wing positions start winning as the Supreme Court overturns a lot of these things. But I'm not psychic, man, so we'll see. The only thing I can do is tell you about it, so there it is. Stick around. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes, and I'll see you all shortly.